Hey guys, Bpcobra here, also known as Brian, and today is Bandos guide. Like I promised in the last vlog, I will be doing a Bandos guide in RuneScape. Yeah. So right now on your screen, you'll be seeing a table of contents, and it's basically outlining the video and how I will be proceeding for the rest of the video. All right. So on this table of contents, you can see that first I will be going over the boss. I will be going over General Grador and basically his abilities, his attacks, what they look like, what they sound like, what they feel like, his HP, his weaknesses, etc. After that, I will be going over the minimum requirements and some recommended requirements in order to kill Bandos successfully. Following that, I will be discussing the gear, weapons, and summoning that you should bring in various forms and stages. I will have a medium level setup, a high level setup, and probably a low level setup. A fairly low level setup, because you do need some pretty decent requirements. After that, I will be discussing whether or not you need to have overloads, and in what cases. I personally do not have overloads, but I will be discussing how they could be beneficial. And finally, I will be discussing whether or not it would be beneficial to do a group kill or a solo or duo kill at Bandos. So with that, let's get on to the boss bio. General Grador has 40,000 life points. He has a max melee hit of just over 2,600, and his max hit with ranged is 500 to 600. So you can tank the range hits, but the melee hits are going to be a different story. He's got no weaknesses. His valuable loot includes the armor that he drops, the Bandos chestplate, the tassets, the Bandos helmet, war shield, the Bandos hilt, and the Bandos boots, I believe is all that he drops that is worth value. He has his 3 minions within his chamber: Sergeant Steel Will, who uses mage attacks, Sergeant Strongstack, who uses melee attacks, and Sergeant Grimspike, who uses ranged attacks. So if you go in solo, at all times you will be attacked by each side of the combat triangle, which is why it's important to have decent armor and decent defenses. Next, I will be discussing the minimum requirements in order to get to Bandos God Wars. So the only real minimum requirements are the quest Troll Stronghold, as well as a level of 70 in the skill Strength. 70 Strength is required to open the door that allows you access to the Bandos area. Some recommended stats are 75 combat stats if you're going to be with a team, and high 80s to 90s if you're going to be in a smaller group. I highly recommend a minimum prayer level of 40 for the protect from missiles prayer, but an even more so recommendation would be 60 to 70 for chivalry and piety prayers. But if you're in a smaller team, you're probably going to want 95 plus prayer for turmoil and soul split as well. If you're going to be in a small group, I highly recommend a summoning level of at least 52 for the Spirit Terror Bird to make your trips last longer. Summoning is not necessarily needed, but it is very beneficial. 67 for the War Tortoise is good. 68 for the Bunyip and 88 for the Unicorn are also very, very recommended as well. In a smaller team, you don't necessarily need it in a larger clan, for instance, sort of team. With that, the next section I will be discussing gears and inventory setups. Okay guys, in this section I'll be discussing the various gears and later inventories that you could bring to Bandos. So the basic gear that I will bring, since I've got it, is the Kiln Cape, the Fury, dual Drygor Rapiers, Barrow's Gloves, Bandos Tassets, Steadfast Boots, Bandos Chestplate, and Varric's Helm. I'll also be bringing a Zamorak Arrow to protect from the Zamorak minions that are on the way to the Bandos boss, along with a Tokelzo for the critical hit bonuses, a Scrimshaw of Vampirism, and a Vampirism Aura. That's what I will be using for the rest of this guide, and that's what I use to go to Bandos my way. So the next possible setup is for a medium level type, and it has a medium level and medium money sort of thing. Obviously, you don't need the Prayer Cape, just any skill cape in general, or a Fire Cape, or Legends Cape, or the Blue Soul Wars Cape, or whatever. Any cape, really. I use the Kiln Cape because of its melee critical bonus, because I'll be using melee at Bandos. But Torag's Plate Body, Torag's Plate Legs, Bandos Godsword is just as good for damage as other level 75 weapons, such as the Vine Whip. So just you could go either way, two-handed or one-handed. With the 2H, you have the benefit of more AoE abilities than if you dual wield or with a shield. If it's like your first time at Bandos and you don't want to risk much, you could go with something similar to this, or you could use a shield as well, because this is not that expensive. It's maybe a couple mil. Obviously, the Fury can be subbed for a Glory or what have you. But the only problem with this setup is you will need a Bandos item to be protected from his minions, which is very important. Any real combination of this gear, the gear that I have on, the gear in my inventory. Void, however, I only recommend to very high-level players, and maybe only in a solo, because it doesn't have too much defense. I mean, the life bonus is very small compared to on Bandos armors. And obviously, if you have anything higher, such as Torva or Tetsu or what have you, wear that, because that's better, obviously. Defenders are nice, but dual wielding is probably the best way to go. Unless, of course, it's your first time, in which case you might want to bring a shield. So, that's about all I have for the gear. I'm going to go set up an inventory and then come back for that. So now that I've gotten all geared up and put on my Dragon Key keepsake, that's what it's called, I get up my inventory. So this inventory is good for about an hour, which is because of the 2 prayer renewal flasks here, each being 30 minutes each. The super set should last about an hour, but because you don't need to pot every time. So I've got a bunch of rocktails and a bunch of prayer potions. I will be using the quick prayers as Soul Split, Turmoil, and Protect Item for this. But if it's your first time, you're going to want to have somebody who is tanking, and I'll get to that when I get to combat in a second. And you want them to be using Deflect Melee, or Protect Melee, and you want to be using Protect from missiles because of Grador's ranged attack. Or else it'll wreck you if it's your first time and you're not well prepared. With that in hand, you could potentially have longer trips. You would just bring an extra familiar. And I usually say 2-hour trips. And I would bring 2 extra prayer renewals. And if I had them, I'd bring overloads, and I'd bring 4 overloads total, and 8 super restores. Don't know why I banked that one. Then I'd fill the rest with food. Sharks or rocktails, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's decent food. But this whole top row would be overloads. The second row would be renewal flasks, super restores, rocktails, healing familiar, or beast of burden, and an extra scroll. What you want to do if you have a beast of burden is you want to fill it completely full with food before you go, and then you want to bring at least 1 spare pouch because getting kill count does take a long time to do, even with like the best armor, the best gear, the best everything. It takes a while. Because I don't have overloads, I will be not taking 2 hours worth, but rather just the 1. So I'm going to bank a bunch of this crap that I don't necessarily need and get more food out. And then in a lower level setup, you'd probably want your gear, maybe a boot switch or whatever, some sort of switch if you wanted to have a Bandos item before you get into the boss room. You'd also want higher level food, perhaps. You'll probably stick with sharks. I wouldn't go much lower. But yeah, sharks, definitely. Rocktails, probably. The next thing, I guess I'll talk about overloads. That will be the next thing. So, overloads, I would only recommend them if you were doing it. Well, I would recommend them in any case. But if you were going to go in solo, then I highly recommend that you have overloads. It's very hard to do it with just a super set. Extremes you might be able to get away with. I'm not entirely sure. Don't have them. But if you've got overloads, use them. If you're going in solo, you should have overloads. Duo, different story. He goes down much easier duo. But I've had trouble in the past with soloing with this sort of setup. That is the only reason that I would recommend overloads. And especially if you're in a clan, you probably don't even need this superset, because the whole clan attacking, even in my little clan here, if we had everybody here attacking, we'd have plenty of defense and a quick enough kill that we wouldn't necessarily need overloads anyway. Roughly an overload will last maybe 2.5 kills, I want to say, because a kill is roughly 2 minutes or so, with the respawn as well. So yeah, in the next section, I will be talking about how to get there and what to do once you are there. Okay, guys, in this section, I'll be talking about how to get to God War's Dungeon from Birth Orb. The easiest way and the cheapest way, inventory-wise, is to modify a teleport to house tablet in order to go to Trollheim. This requires the Love Story quest, if I'm not mistaken, and then you want to do all, and then you just break the house tablet, or the Trollheim tablet now, and you just get sucked away to Trollheim. Boom, you're here. On your screen now, there will be a map of what to do once you get to Trollheim, and the red path is where to go, so you just run south, and then back north again, come down, go over this cliffside, and then down over this rocks, and then once you're down there, just run north, and you'll have to squeeze past a rock. Or you could lift the rock. And then once you're there, it's just a quick dash north into a hole where you will enter the hole and be in God War's Dungeon. Lift boulder or squeeze past boulder. The yellow path is for the lower level setup. I'm pretty sure it still requires climbing boots. I haven't done it, but basically, you take the Berthorpe home teleport, and then once you're there, you simply run northwest into the Death Plateau area, but not up to the Death Plateau. And then once you're there, you just continue along the yellow path until you get to the red path, and then you follow it north into the God War's hole. So once you're here, you're going to want to run northwest into this little area. There should be Bloodveld, a bunch of orcs, and a Joger or two nearby, and a bunch of goblins. What you're going to want to do here is get kill count. Up here in this corner, it shows your kill count. Right now I'm at 0 because I just got here. So what you do is you turn on Turmoil to make it go faster, or Piety or Chivalry or what have you. And you activate Momentum. I've already had it activated, so that's why I don't have to activate it. And then you do that, and then you just kill 40 Bandos monsters. Bandos monsters are Jogers, Orcs, Goblins, in this corner Hobgoblins, and that's about it. You can go in this area and kill the spiritual mages, but I don't recommend it, as the Goblins, Jogers, and Hobgoblins are much easier to kill out here. I do not recommend attacking the Orcs, because when they die, all of the Orcs in the area will attack you, and you will get wrecked, unless you basically just safe up and get the hell out. You want to try to find the low HP ones, because they are fixing to be dead, and once you do at least 1 damage to them, they count towards your kill count, even if, like, this Avian Sea kills them, or what have you. It is faster for kill count if you set up an action bar, and my action bar for the boss room consists of this. It's Slice, Punish, Fury, Sever, Dismember, Assault, Destroy, Flurry, and then I activate and deactivate my Scrimshaw every kill. If you're in a clan, you don't even need the Scrimshaw, to be completely honest. It's just sort of added healing. And I like to duo, and like I said, I start off with Soul Split enabled. So if I end up tanking during the kill, I just turn on Deflect Melee, just in case. If I am the one supposed to be tanking for, like, my clan or whatever, I have Provoke, and then, of course, Regenerate for in-between kills and after the boss dies. Another good tactic to use in this kill count room is attack one of everything. I like to do the Hobgoblins because they're sort of out of the way, and then use Flurry because it attacks, like, everything in, like, a 3x3 around you, I believe, and that just does massive amounts of damage to everything involved. I'm gonna activate Soul Split, get my HP up. What you want to do in here is drink a Prayer Renewal and a Super Restore whenever you need it. It shouldn't take you more than a few minutes to get kill count because of the way kill count works, but it will take you a fair amount of time nonetheless. But once you've got kill count, you want to meet up with your team in the intermediate room, and I'll show you that when I get to the kill count room. Another note for kill count, guys, is once you have an ultimate bar, you can and probably should use the ultimate ability Berserk, because it makes every attack you do so much more powerful, and that will let you do kill count so much more fast. Just a quick note before I go on to killing the boss. The only real difference between killing it in a team and killing it solo or duo is quite simply what you want for drops. If you want it the max money per hour and XP per hour, you would kill it solo or duo all the time. If you just wanted fun, that's when you would go to a team. You would get like your clan going just for fun, you know. You wouldn't kill it with a clan for money. You would kill it solo for money if you wanted money from Bandos. That's really the main difference between solo and team. It's just the profit that you want and how much fun you're willing to have. Okay, so this is the section with the killing of the Bandos. I'm here with Yikari in game. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. We're
Uh,
gonna do some duo kills. I'm geared up. I've got KC. You've got KC. Hopefully.
Indeed, I do.
All right. So we're just gonna do some free for all, and then no, we're gonna split the loot right after it drops or whatever.
If we get something.
Yeah, if we get it. Good luck on that. So
Indeed.
what you want to do here is take a swig of prayer renewal and your superset or your overload or whatever you're gonna bring, and then the first person in wants to activate protect melee, and I'll go in first.
All right.
And then for this one, we're going to enter boss room, but you could also start a new session, which requires 250k for an hour, and you get your own world for Bandos, which is always good. But we're going to enter boss room, and we're going to just wreck this kid. Oh, he's already half health.
Let's show him who's boss.
You're going to want to pray protect range, I believe.
Do I?
Yeah, when the boss is up, but since he's dead already, I mean,
Watch him one-shot me when he spawns.
he shouldn't. As long as you have protect melee up, he shouldn't ever one-shot you.
I got a spin ticket. Thank you, Jagex.
Nice.
That loot.
Nice. Alright. After every kill, you're going to want to just regenerate, get your health back, unless you're like him and you've got full health
I'm
already.
gonna spin that shit.
Do it. Get that loot.
Small cashback.
Nice.
Get in
All
my
at
pouch.
all at 6k. Okay. When your tortoise starts attacking him, he's gonna aggro onto you, so that might be a problem.
Eek.
But you should be fine because you're with me, and I can provoke him off of you. Also, before you enter the room, you should summon your unicorn stallion or your familiar, your healing familiar, but you should have a tortoise filled with food if you bring a beast of burden. So once he spawns, you just cycle through your abilities. You turn on your quick prayers first, of course. Cycle through your abilities and drop him. Use flurry if you've got thresholds available because, like I said, flurry will attack everything nearby. So yeah, pray melee when he's on you. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. But like I said, I just provoked him off of him. So yeah, his kills are going smooth.
Pretty fast.
Yeah. So yeah, just basically continue this process until you've got either run out of food or
Get
die,
some epic loot and you want to
get
share.
epic loot, get bank, make bank, win, just everything, win the game, beat the game. So yeah, once you've mastered this, you can do basically anything you want in Bandos related territory-ness. So yeah,
Coins.
all of that loot.
I like.
Also, whenever you have the opportunity, pray at the altar to fill up your prayer points. It should give you a boost if you're wearing a Bandos item, and I'm wearing Bandos items.
Me too.
So yeah. With that, guys, I guess I'll see you all later. Good luck with your Bandos loot, and have a good day.
Bye bye,
Peace.
guys.